going back in effect tomorrow. So for those that are looking to refinance, it's essential that you lock in. Basically, today's the last day to lock. Yesterday, I locked 41 loans, and I've got 21 more to lock today on refinance, save them a half point. So, but other than that, market's pretty stable. So surprisingly, despite all the volatility in the S&P and the Dow, the bond market has remained relatively stable. We did see quite a bit of a sell-off because the Fed did say that they were going to allow inflation to run a little high. So not as much demand for the bonds, which is why the mortgage rates have ticked up a little bit. But all in all, I mean, we're still sitting in a very good position when you're in sub-3 rates on 30-year money.
Yeah. So I want, Joe, give an example to Marina. Marina, are you on this call? Can you hear us?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So this is the difference. Joe, give an example of someone that was like at a 4% on a $200,000, let's say a $250,000 roughly mortgage. The difference between a 4% and a 3% rate or is roughly how much?
All right, so we're doing 30-year money at a 4%. We've got P&I at 1193, and if I cut that down to 2.875, 1037, you're looking at a monthly savings of $160 a month.
Did you hear that, Marina? Just 1 point.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. That's
Just
a lot.
I want to ask some of these young kids, like, when I first bought my condo, which was like in 2007, my first property, guess what my interest rate was? It was a great interest rate back then, too. Marina.
5?
7.
Oh, my God.
Close.
Yeah. How much, how much savings would that be? Would that be like $400 or something?
Surprisingly, I still have clients that bought in like 2005, 2006, and have never refinanced that I'm running into. And they're like, is it a good time to refinance? And I'm like, absolutely. You know, I'm cutting your interest rate in half. and even better yet, I mean, you've been in the property long enough, you have enough equity, I could flip you to a 15-year and drop the rate down to like 2.375, 2.5. The monthly savings is $700-800 a month on a $250,000 home. So, I mean, personally, myself, I dropped myself 1% on the rate, and I'm saving $585 a month.
That's amazing.
That's hella big. So that 1% makes a significant difference. You know, if we're talking about a $50,000 loan, that 1%, very little difference. But
yeah,
bigger the loan, the more significant impact. We've had quite a few clients, $1 million loans, 0.75% saves them $900 a month.
Yeah, that's man, that's a big deal. Good. So Sam, we've been talking about doing my refinance here for like let's do it after
like 6 years.
You gotta lock it in today.
That's good.
You got till 9 p.m. Lock it in.
Anything? What about any news on investor loans or anything like that, or not?
I mean, the investor space is still not too friendly place right now. I mean, the and the forbearance moratorium and then the eviction moratorium has been extended through January, December 31st right now. So for the secondary market, you know, the demand for investment loans is just not there, and it's reflected in the interest rate. So,
yeah. So let me ask you a question. And Jim just wrote, Jim Lester just said, like, he bought his house in 1979 for 13% interest.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing. Hey, but give me an example. So if me and Daniel, Daniel Jones wanted to buy a house like that he was fixed up, he'd want to sell it for $150,000. What would he have to put down right now for like investment?
Minimum down payment would be 20%.
Okay, and then what kind of, would he get like 30-year financing on that? Could you get 30-year financing?
Absolutely. So if I did a conventional investment at an 80% loan to value, excellent credit, lock. It's going to be in the fours. Let's see.
That's still nothing, man. That's still a good deal. And that's like, you could hold that on as you could theoretically, if you don't if you don't get a seller, you could actually hold on to the house and still do pretty good over 30 years.
Best pricing available right now on that would be like, you could do 3.5% with 2 points. Discount, 2 points discount would be equivalent to 2% of loan amount. So on a $150,000 loan, you got $3,000 to get a 3.5 rate.
Okay, good. Sam, you got anything to add to this?
No, I mean, I think one thing as realtors, when you talk to clients with the rates doing what they are and having been where they are, it might be important to kind of discuss, because I'll talk to someone about a rate at like 3 or 3.25, and they're like, that's really high. So I think setting the expectations, like, 2.5% existed 2.375, rates at 3 to 4% is still historically amazing. So don't get caught up in what's has been, but look at the entire historical picture. Like Jim Lester, 13% in '79. My first house was 8.25, and it was 0.25% below the market. I refinanced at 6.5 and was ecstatic. So I think if we just set expectations that, rates right now are anywhere from, high 2s to high 3s, and that's still great. I think just talking with your buyers about that might kind of help ease them when the rates are starting to go up a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
We've talked about how busy we've been. I will tell you the numbers just came out from the Mortgage Bankers Association. Last quarter, the mortgage industry did $1.1 trillion in loans. Now, keep in mind, on an average year, that number, we're lucky as an industry to do $3 trillion. We did 1.1 trillion in 1 quarter.
Did you see where there's a record amount of people now in forbearance, Joe?
On the government loan, so I mean that is the highest mortgage volume in 20 years. So yeah, forbearance numbers, conventional loans are falling. Government loans are seeing forbearance numbers increasing, and part of that is part of this recovery. Those with higher educations and higher level jobs found no loss in work, or it was much easier to return to work.
Yeah.
In the lower income sector, mainly hospitality and services industry, those jobs have not come back as quickly.
Yeah.
And it's causing those loans to underperform.
Okay. Good, man. All right. Good job. Let's all give Joseph. You're always like a plethora of knowledge. Best. You guys are the best. You guys are the #1 team in America, right?
Probably the world.
Yeah. I mean, let's go. That is good. #1 loan team. Hand of applause for you guys. All right, guys, we're going to get excited now. We're going to talk about the August top producers. Are you ready? Is everybody super ready on this one? So we're going to start off with listings. Jackie Leonard had 4. Let's give Jackie a hand of applause. Good job, Jackie. Woo! Yeah. Bobby Hill had 3. Look at Mary Hayes. Hayes had 3 too. Mary, you're killing it. And then Sherry Langford had 3 also. So good job, Miss Sherry. The McLean team had 3. Now check this one out, guys. Most closings. Jackie Leonard, where are you going, Sam? You're leaving me?
I gotta go work on my file.
Okay. Sam's leaving me.
I'm gonna sign in.
Okay. Guess how many, Daniel Jones, guess how many closings Jackie Leonard had this month? 10, guys. 10 closings. So hand of applause for Jackie Leonard. Good job, Jackie. Denzel had 5. Big Denzel. Good job. And then there was like a 5-way tie for 3rd place of Kim Chesser. Kim's probably at the gym. She's not an early riser. Mary Hayes coming out of you had 4 closings, Mary, in August. Did you know that? Michelle Fields. Look at Michelle. She had 4 too. Rick Gordon and Ronnie Braun. So most closings, that was, and then the McLeans had 4 too. So like really impressive guys. I'm really like proud of you guys. Now let's talk about, I'm going to show you guys the September to remember. Daniel, what's the September? Well, actually, let me pick on someone else here. Miss Lakeisha Weldon, can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, what's the September to remember? What's the idea behind this competition? Okay, I'll give you a little bit. So it's not the most sales or closings. It's a competition to help you build your business.
Build your business.
Build your business. So you don't have to get intimidated because you can win as long as you're doing activities that build your business too. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen for a second so you guys can see what activities these are. Host is able participant sharing screen. And Miss Katie, can you give me the ability to share my screen?
Yes, sir. Just a second.
Okay, but that's the gist of it. So, for example, if you sign a buyer exclusive contract this month, that's 3 points. If you go on a listing presentation, that's 3 points. Okay, so you don't have to win it. You don't have to win the listing presentation. I just want you to go on the listing presentation. If you memorize your pre-qualification script, that's 5 points. If you show us that you got 100 people in your database with the monthly newsletter, that's 10 points. That's a big one right there, people. Did you get that, Mary Hayes? I'm going to see if I can show my screen to you guys. Okay, let me see.
Yeah, got the wrong size molding.
Okay, hold up.
So
So,
he's came and got all that, they're taking that back. They're
Okay,
coming,
someone's-
he's paying the cabinets.
okay, someone is like, we got muted. Can you guys see? These are the rules. You guys see this? The rules?
Table. And
So,
the light ring thing.
hold up.
There-
Let me mute. There's someone that needs to be muted. Katie, can you mute that person?
So he's, they're in and out.
No, you have to. I think it's Deborah's iPad. Okay, she's good now.
Okay. All right. So do you guys see the September to remember? Can you guys see my screen? September to remember
Yeah.
contest rules? Okay. So sign an exclusive buyer contract, 3 points. Go on listing presentation, 3 points. Memorize your pre-qualification script, 5 points. Add 100 people in your database that, with the monthly newsletter, that's 10 points. Show us your listing presentation, that's 5 points. Get a listing, that's 5 points. And then there's a Mike Ferry virtual retreat that we actually paid for 10 of them. For like, it costs $200 per person, but if you want to go to it and you're going to participate in it, that's 5 points per day. And I'm going to add one more, which is, like if you get 1 point if you get 1 point if you add our YouTube page to the company. I mean, so if you subscribe to our company YouTube page, which is Century 21 Premier Real Estate, you get 1 point right there. So
Alex, also, I've received only one update
Update.
from
Okay.
last week. So they'll need to start emailing that stuff in.
yeah, so guys, please remember, like every week, send your update. And I'm gonna ask Miss Marina, are you signed up to the company? Like, are you on YouTube? Are you subscribed to the Century 21 Premier Real Estate YouTube
I
page?
am not. I'm not, but I will.
Okay, you go ahead and do that.
Okay.
And same thing with you, Miss Erin Dietz. Sign up for the company YouTube page. what else? So that's like, that's the contest. Now, what we're gonna talk about, and luckily we have some people that, I flipped some stuff, but Daniel has flipped stuff. I know Anthony has. I know that Jim Lester has flipped a lot of things. So we're going to talk a little bit about like kind of the rules of flipping today. Okay? Is everybody super excited? I know Mary Hayes has done some. So I'm going to ask Miss Marina, how many people, like if you're, let's say you're going to resell a house for 100,000. What's the most you can pay for that house, Marina?
What's the most you can pay for that house?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it depends. It depends on the market too. So sometimes, like right now, some listings are getting sold for more than what they listed for. So it's hard to answer this question, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to give you my feedback, and then Daniel, I want you to give yours, and then Mary, you can like jump in too. Okay. But in general, what you want to do is you're going to sell a house for 100,000. The most you can like really buy it for is about 60% loan to value. Why? Let's talk about it. Let's say you bought something for 60,000. Okay. Let's do the math together. And let's say it's like a 1,500 square foot house, okay? You're gonna have to paint, right? How much does painting cost?
For a 1,500 square foot house, you're probably looking at about 2,500 to 3,000.
Okay, let's say 3,000. Then you're gonna have to like recarpet. That's another 3,000, right?
Yep.
Then you're gonna have to like update the kitchen, put in appliances, right? How much? That's expensive, right, Mary? Like if you put appliances, even if you put like basic stuff, and you gotta change the countertops and
cabinet doors.
yeah. So what, like what do you say, like
Alex,
4,000? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you also might have to look at putting in new cabinetry if it's an older house too,
Yeah.
to update it. So
Exactly.
that could be an additional cost.
Or sanding it or doing it. Let's say, I think at the very basic, I don't think you can make a kitchen look good for under like 5,000. Because a kitchen is what sells the house, right? Kitchens and master bathrooms. So then let's say you do something in the master bathroom where you tile it up, make it look a little bit nice, that kind of stuff. Let's say you have like another what would you say, Daniel? 2,000 in there?
In the bathrooms,
Yeah,
if you're doing 2 bathrooms, you're looking at least $3,000 for 2.
yeah. So let's say 3 grand. Okay. So right now, guys, how much? Where am I at right now at my cost? Okay. So right now, it was like
About 15. You're at about 15.
14 or 15.
No, I'm 8. Yeah. But I'm at like 8, 11, 14. I'm at 14 right now. Okay. So now I have 74 in it. Now that's without any like HVAC, right? Like Jim, how much is it gonna fix if I need to like do some kind of repair in the HVAC or get a brand new HVAC? How much is that gonna be?
About 4,500.
Yeah.
Or more, because you can repair ductwork. You can do the outside coil's got to match, or the inside coil's got to match the outside compressor and sear rating. I mean, a 1,200 square foot house can cost you about $7,000 just to replace all that system.
Exactly. So now, guys, I'm at 18,500. Okay. So, but let's say we don't have like any roofing issues, which sometimes there is going to be like some kind of roofing stuff, right, Jim? But let's say let's say there isn't, but the roof is very important. But let's say you're gonna do some outside landscaping too, right? Curb appeal, some shutters. You're gonna at least spend what, like 1,000 for that? 1,500? Let's say 1,500 for that. Okay, so now I'm at 20,000 in expenses. Did you guys see how quickly that added up? So now that 60,000, I have 80,000 in there, right? Are you following me, Marina?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so now I have 80,000, but guess what? You're gonna have to pay commissions and closing costs. So then
So
that's
just
another, that's
11,000.
yeah, that's another, let's say
6,000 commissions and 5,000 in closing costs,
Yeah,
worst
well,
case
yeah.
scenario.
Yeah, let's say, but let's be generous here and just say we're only gonna pay half the closing cost. So let's say 9,000 for like commission and that kind of stuff. So now guys, you're working your ass off. Your expenses are 89,000 now. Without your holding costs. Because you have to turn on electricity and all kind of stuff. So on 89, you're hoping to make $10,000 on that house if everything goes perfect.
And you got to pay your taxes at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Alex, the other things that you need to consider are your acquisition costs of the house
Yeah.
and your holding costs for the
Yeah.
value of your money.
Exactly. So that gives you guys like a feel for it. Jim, you've done a bunch of these things. Now I want to get some I want to get some tips. Jim has been in this business for a long time. Daniel has been flipping. Anthony's flipped. I can't see the other people, but Jim, what's some advice you have for what's some advice you have for people that are flipping?
If you're going to take your first start flip, add 10 to 15% on your cost to the figures, because you'll have a lot of unknown switch plates, electrical. I mean, just little stuff can eat you up. I tell my people to count every nickel when I'm mentoring. I'm mentoring 3 different deals right now on one flip and 2 BRR processes. But I've got a rental deal analyzer that will basically show you go and no go. If you want a copy of it, I can talk you through it. It has hard money lending in it. The interest rates that you pay for the hard money lending, your procurement costs and the pro rata of taxes, your holding costs for cutting grass, all those estimates. And then when you go to sell, the real estate commission, the closing costs, everything's in there, and it shows your profit and stuff. So it's a numbers game, and the numbers have to be ARV times 70% minus repairs equal maximum allowable offer. That's where you go with to start.
So look, so like for some of the new agents here, like because we got some new agents on this call, explain to them what like your acronyms are.
ARV is after repair value. It's not market value. Okay, it's if you do it right, it's going to be above market value for the particular property. We look at usually the highest price per square foot for the subdivision or as close proximity to the house that we can do, considering age, style, all the factors that you got to do to adjust prices. Then we look at the repairs and estimating repairs. That's the key thing, is if you get the house under contract during the due diligence period, get your contractors in to now fine tune that estimate so that you can then decide go or no go. In other words, you can back out a deal if it looks like you can be losing money.
Let me ask you a question. How much of a buffer should you put like in your thing? Because another thing is there's always going to be unexpected repairs in these situations. So how much of a buffer would you put in for that, like 4%?
No, that's what I was just saying, 10 to 15% if you're first doing it. Now, more experience you get with it. I mean, I'm a contractor. I'm pretty close to my bids and stuff now.
Yeah.
But, and we don't use, sometimes just to knock out competition, we don't do a due diligence,
Yeah.
But that's certain techniques and tactics and negotiation that we use to get the deal. But if the numbers are right, we walk. I mean, today is so many people that are trying to do this. So many people up in Atlanta are out buying us because they just started and they will bid higher than we are. And then they call us to either get them out of the deal if we want to buy it or what, because they got in and got over their head and start putting moving into the house and put too many things into it, for example, and then forgot their budget, you know.
Yeah. So that's like, so you guys see like with the issue with a flip, Daniel, like what's something that you've learned from a flip also?
There's always going to be unexpected things that come up. I always like to see at least a 20% return on the flip.
Yeah.
And if it's anything less than 20%, I don't think it's worth the time because you're putting a lot of risk into it.
Yeah.
So if I don't feel like it comes back at a minimum of 20%, it's not going to happen. And you know your costs for everything. Stick with your contractors. Know how much that granite is going to cost. Know how much the paint's going to cost for the size of the house. Know your prices. Know them within a couple of $100 because you can really help your figures that way and really dial it in as to what this is all going to cost. And there's always going to be unexpected. Like Jim said, 10 to 15% I think is good because you may look at that roof and it looks good. But then come to find out it's got leaks and needs to be replaced, and there's an additional $5,000 on a 1,500 square foot house that you didn't really anticipate.
The problem
That's right.
today is that lumber has gone up almost 110%. I went into Home Depot the other day and I was fighting to pick up treated wood to do some steps and stuff for one of my clients, and they were bringing it in. I had to wait for them to bring in the truckloads of it, on the forklifts to sort it out. But I spent $400 some odd for $150 worth of damn lumber,
Yeah. I think one of the lessons I learned through the school of like Hard Knocks is like, it's very tempting to always go the cheapest contractor, but then you go there and then they don't do a good job. And the next thing you know, you have to like, where you had to ask for another contractor to go in there and fix their job. So like, that's one of the things I know, like, pay people what they should be paid when they, cause you want it to look good at the end. Like, having another contractor come in is gonna cost you double, because not only is that guy gonna have to, take the time to fix that guy's mess, but then he also has to do the job himself. So get a good contractor that's that is affordable, but that knows what he's doing. Jim, what do we have to do? Do you think we can get a copy of that spreadsheet maybe to send out to some of these people?
If you're flipping a house with a client or customer, I'll be glad to sit down with you and give you a copy of my spreadsheet, explain it to you how to work it. There's a lot more detail than that. I have like a 10-page estimate form that I can explain. That's part of my real estate investor club group that we teach up in Atlanta, Noonan, and down here too. So, but yeah, I'll give you a copy of it.
Okay, good. So here's a question I want to ask Ms. Daniele. What are some of the good ways that you can, it's getting very competitive now. So if you want to flip something or maybe buy investment property, what are some good ways to go about it?
I'm not understanding your question.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't expect people to get this answer right. We're doing like the Socratic method, but
okay, ask it again.
Yeah, what are the ways that someone can like, get some opportunities, find a flip or find a good rental for yourself?
Oh yeah, I don't know that.
Okay, well, anyone take a shot? Like, anyone want to take a shot at it?
Mail outs.
Go ahead.
I just said mail outs. Just send out mailings of different properties that looked abandoned. Try to find the owner of the property and just send out mails to them, offering that you'll purchase their homes.
A good thing to do, and this is not illegal, and I mentioned this before, and I've actually done this before, is like I'll pay, like I have a network of I gotta take him out to dinner again, but I have a network of like post office mail delivery people, and those guys always know which houses are abandoned because they're delivering mail to it, right? So if they can tell me like one that's like that looks abandoned or something, I'll give them like $25 or $50 or something like that. But Brad had a good point. Sending out mailings, right? now I actually seen it where there's programs where I just got one where you can text them. You can put everyone's contact info and just text them directly. So that's a good one. Foreclosures, courthouse steps. Does anyone here know how the courthouse steps go? So I'm going to ask Miss Erin. Miss Erin Dietz, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so take a guess. I know you've never done this before, but guess how? Now I don't think they're doing the courthouse steps right now because of this whole Corona thing, right? But like, so that's another method. So what happens in the courthouse steps is you go over there. Has anyone else done this? Like you go over there and the banks send like a representative, okay? And you just start bidding for the property. They'll say we have a foreclosure in 1922 Preston Drive. And then you just start bidding on the houses against someone else. But you should have the cash with you, like a certified money check. But if you don't have a certified money check, they'll usually give you like an hour to come up with it. So if you ever decide to do a courthouse steps deal, make sure you can get that money pretty quickly to them. But what's important is, like when the banks show up at the courthouse steps, they don't wait for each one to go. Like the different banks will sometimes start doing it all together. So there'll be like 4 or 5 at the same time. That's why if you want to do that, you really need to have like a team of like 3 people that know how to bid, and a team of 3 people that know how to bid, and you've driven by the property so you know what it looks like too. Because like I said, you don't want to overpay for it either. Does anyone have any questions on that?
I think a few things to consider on that specifically is usually when you have a standard foreclosure, 9 times out of 10, all the liens and stuff have been taken care of.
Yeah.
When it's like bank owned, when you do the courthouse steps, you know, you probably want to do your title search beforehand. If you have access to the property address and everything, try to have an attorney on hand that can do it quickly for you.
Yeah, that's right.
When you get one from the city step, have they already gone past the 12-month right of redemption? Like, can you you have to hold for 12 months before you can resell?
Yeah, that's for the right of redemption is for Alabama. Okay, and
It's also for FHA loans, Alex. 90-day hold for if you're going to sell for FHA loans.
yeah, but usually I know the one. Thank you, Jim. I know the one for Alabama. It's very rare. And if they redeemed it, they have to reimburse you for all your repairs and everything to the house. Mm-hmm. So
in Georgia, if you get out the city steps, you can just go ahead and fix it up and resell it as long as like you're in that 90 days outside of that 90-day period for FHA.
Yes.
If there's no one living in the house.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're right. Now with this COVID, good point, Brad. Now with this COVID, it's made things like a little bit more complicated. And then another interesting one is tax ones. I've done a tax one, and those tax ones are interesting because you buy it and you can't touch, you can't go in the house for a year, like a tax lien one. So that's pretty interesting.
I bought one of those recently.
What's that?
I said I bought a couple tax liens. We actually acquired a property across from this 10 acres we own that had a trailer and a structure on it, and we
no way.
Yeah, it's been over 3 years now. We've already applied for the title.
Did you get a good
$8,000?
Did you get a good deal on it?
$8,000 for 4 acres with a structure on the property.
That's pretty good. So how much you think that would be worth? Like 25? Daniel, if you had to buy that like market value.
Oh yeah, it'd be at least 10,000 an acre.
Wow, dude. So you guys listening to that? Daniel got something for like, well, that add like a couple thousand for the structure. So you got something like 43, 44K for $8,000, right?
Yep.
But at the same time, you had to hold on to that for what, like 2 years?
3 years, 3 years. But if they wanted to reacquire the property, they had to pay everything we spent plus interest.
Yeah. Good.
So
Hey, Alex,
Yes,
can,
sir.
can you or Jim kind of talk about briefly the 1031 exchange? I know I had one of the agents to ask me a question about that this week,
Yeah.
and how that may pertain to buying property.
Oh, that's a great, I love 1031. That's a great question. Thank you. That's a great, so what a 1031 exchange allows you to do is, the first rule of like 1031 exchanges is you always have to like buy something that's more expensive than what you sold. Okay. So, but usually when you sell a property, you're going to have to pay taxes on it, right? 1031 exchanges are really popular with like apartment complexes and mini storage units, because the more value property has, like the more expensive it's going to be, right? I mean, the more taxes you're going to pay. So, so let's say you're selling like a $3 million apartment complex. I don't know, Jim, what's the capital? Let's say you're selling a $3 million apartment complex and you've owned it for like 15 years and you have like $1 million in profit in it. What's the capital gains going to be on that one? Roughly.
That depends on the individual, but you got, I mean, what tax rate you are, 25, 30, you know, so I mean, I can't calculate that without knowing.
So let's say like if you own let's say you're like a 30, so
35% generally, okay?
Okay, so let's say that'd be like, you'd be paying like 350 grand.
Yep.
On in taxes, right?
I just had a guy come here from California, sold a $1.2 million house in California, bought here in for cash for 400 some odd thousand, but he had to pay about $400,000 to at the closing when he closed that house in California.
Yeah. So what you do is so the way to avoid and it's a great deal. The way to avoid me paying $350,000 in taxes, Mary Hayes, is for me to buy something else, another property that's more expensive or the same price. And then I don't have to pay the taxes on it. So that's kind of like the gist of it. Jim, you got anything to add to it?
You still pay
the big thing,
Alex. You still pay the taxes on it. What it is, the taxes are delayed,
deferred.
Yeah, deferred.
Yeah.
So the taxes will be due at one time when you do sell the property in the future,
yeah.
or the next property in the future. So taxes
Yeah.
will be paid.
Yeah, but
the biggest thing.
Go ahead.
The biggest thing with a 1031 exchange is the intermediary. You want to make sure that you got a licensed, knowledgeable intermediary that handles all the
No,
information.
you're right.
You can get yourself in extreme trouble without using an intermediary.
No, you're right. That's a very good point. Thank you for reminding. So when you close on an apartment complex that I told you, you can't touch that money. That money has to be an escrow account with an attorney. It has to be with a third party. You can't touch that. That money cannot be touched by you at all. So that's where so you have to pay a lawyer usually to hold that kind of stuff. And that's a good point. But I gave you a big example, but even like you can do 1031 exchanges, even if you bought something for 50,000 and you made 100,000 on it, you made 50 grand on it. Then you can go ahead and buy another property, delay the payment on it, and so anyone can use it. Did everyone get that? Aaron, did you understand it?
I'm trying to follow, yeah.
Okay. So basically, anytime you have you sell a property and you have you take a profit in it, you're gonna have to pay taxes on it unless you do a 1031 exchange where you go and buy another property at the same price or a higher price. But you have to make sure, and you only have, I think with a 1031, Jim, you have in that process, you have 3 months to identify it and another 3 months to close on it. So
Yeah, I think you have to be closed within 180 days.
yeah, so you have like a time deadline for it too. But I think that was, so to recap today, I just want to talk about, to recap today, if you guys saw where like buying a house, if I'm trying to sell something for 100 grand and buying it at 60,000 of value can be, that's already risky. So you really need to find a way to even buy it like at maybe 50 or 55% of like the fixed up value. Make sure you get good contractors. Make sure you have a good spreadsheet. Jim will sit down with you and get you a good spreadsheet if you want it. Those spreadsheets can be lifesavers. Make sure you have your financing right. And I think that's those are some good points. Does anyone else have any questions about next week? We'll talk about investment properties, the rules of that. But does anyone have any questions on flips and 1031 exchanges?
I'll help you with the spreadsheets. I've got a sheet of over 50 hard money lenders. You got to contact them yourself. I mean, I make you do the homework when you're working with me, but that way you learn. It's your money, not mine. So, but I'll help you with it.
Yeah, Jim is a plethora of knowledge. So I think that's good. Ali, you got anything to say for us? I like to have our meeting short here.
This was really great. I'm glad I got to hop on. It's a lot of great info. I want to make sure that everybody knows you guys can call me if you have questions about home warranties. And if you have customers that need something, even if they're unhappy, that's exactly why I'm here. So I want to encourage you, if you've got issues, good or bad, to give me a call. I'm here. I live in Columbus. You don't see me a lot, but I'm here. So don't hesitate to reach out. That's why I'm here. So thank you.
Good deal. Anyone have any quick listings? We've got about 2 minutes for listings. Daniel, you got some listings coming up, right?
Yeah, they're still in the works. I was hoping to have them listed this week, but the rehab is taking a little bit longer than we anticipated. So they're probably still about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks out.
Okay. Anyone else have any other listings or anything?
Alex, I just got a listing this morning. It's in Pine Mountain and Piedmont Lake. It's a 4-bedroom, 5-bath house. It's right there on the water on Piedmont Lake Drive, listing it for $575. It's a nice house.
Okay, good. Man, that's a good listing. Big Anthony. Good deal. Anybody else have anything else?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
It's for Jim Lester. I've been asking by people about this investor club. So can you give more information about that? Where is it and how can people join it?
I'm gonna talk to Jim about that, Marina. But we're gonna start one like next month over here.
Okay.
So I'll get you the details for it.
All right, great. Thank you.
I'll get you the details for it. But what I was gonna say also, don't forget September to remember. Go ahead and send like your points to. We're giving a lot of nice prizes like AirPods, iPads, a cruise. Don't you want to take your husband Mary on a romantic cruise? Mary Hayes, good. But we're giving like lots of good prizes. So
hey, Alex, I'm just gonna say those didn't look like AirPod Pros. I'm just saying.
I don't know. You can't really see anything. No, great meeting, guys. I like to keep our meetings short, so great meeting, and If you guys got any questions, we're gonna do prospecting tomorrow, like at 11 o'clock. So, you guys, I'm gonna end this thing. Have a great day. Get your points for September to remember, and we'll talk later. Thank you all.